They actually have a plan for today's Nice Guys on Business podcast. You don't want to miss it.
The reason that I know this works is because we're displacing giant agencies at companies like Microsoft, at companies like Coca-Cola, at companies like Amazon. We are the ones that are coming in. We're winning pitches. And part of the reason is that we're smaller, we're more nimble, we're more cost effective, but we can still develop world-class work. Now, in my book, Hacking Advertising, I spell out exactly how this is done, exactly how brands, smaller brands and giant brands, can switch to this creative production model and get out of the big agency runaround.
I'm going to put it right on the line. There's been a lot of complaints already. Fooling around on the course, bad language, smoking grass, poor caddying. If you guys want to get fired, just keep it up. If you want to get replaced by golf carts or the nice guys on business, go from where you are now to where you could be. Get expert tips to grow your business, to be more productive and more efficient, whether you're trying to build influence, grow your community, or make it rain. Best-selling author of Nice Guys Finish First, Doug Sandler, can lead the way. The Nice Guys on Business is produced by TurnKey Podcast Productions. Now, here's your host, Doug Sandler.
All right, Nice Guy community, welcome back to the podcast. So, big ad agencies and those that hire them, we're about to dig into a paradigm shift. Jon Sneider, he's here to hack the system. As the founder of Wild Gravity and author of Hacking Advertising, of course, as the title would tell you, Jon has cracked the code on masking world-class ads without bloating costs, slow timeliness, corporate nonsense, all of those things that it's just ridiculous how much people are dealing with when it comes to, getting their ads out to the world. Get ready to learn how small, nimble teams can outpace the industry giants. This is one conversation that you won't want to miss. Jon, I'm excited to chat. Welcome to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
Doug, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here today.
Happy to have a fellow Californian. Where are you in California again?
Oh, actually, I'm in Seattle.
There you go. We're not even in California. Happy to have a West Coaster.
West Coaster.
A West Coaster. Yeah. I knew somewhere along the way you were there. So for those in our community that they can't see the background that Jon has, got a totally cool. He's got like the cross country skis in his background. You got the film reel. You got a bunch of other stuff. You've staged this perfectly for an audio podcast, Jon.
Right. Thanks. I do work hard on the visuals. I mean, I do have a creative production agency, so video, of course, is really important to me.
All right, so let's talk about it. Before we get totally into the book, I want to talk about what traditional ad agency, the model, what's going wrong with it? Where do you think that it failed humankind?
Well, in the book, I talk about how I used to be the head of advertising for 3 different huge brands, for LL Bean, for Microsoft, and for Redfin. And at every place along the way, the production process was the same. You work with a huge agency. They develop the concepts for the campaign. They develop the concepts for the spots. But then when it's time to produce the spots, they farm out the production work to a production company. Now, the production companies are the ones that are actually going to hire the director, hire the producer. They're going to have all the cameras, get the sound guys, everything that you need to actually produce the film. The agencies are not really involved at that point, except as an advisor. After the spot is done, after it's filmed, then it goes to a post-production company. They're the ones that are going to do all of the editing and the color correction and the sound balancing. And then if you're filming devices or if you need supers or motion graphics, it's going to go to a 4th company, which is the visual effects company. So then you're dealing with 4 different vendors to get your work done. And when I was the client, particularly at Microsoft, I was like, this is ridiculous. Why are we working with so many people? Why does it cost so much money and take so much time? Mm-hmm. And the reason mostly is because of that process.
Okay, so I want to back up for just a quick second because the 3 companies that you mentioned, you said LL Bean, Redfin, and Microsoft, right? So
That's correct.
Enormous organizations. Even if in their startup phase, they were still enormous organizations at that point.
That's right.
I want to talk to the person that's in our community that may be an entrepreneur that doesn't, of course, they don't have the budget or the timeline or the wherewithal to even know where to begin in this process. And in today's technology prone world that we are living in, it seems like that's just a lot. Sorry, my expression. It seems like it's a lot of fucking waste along the way here. How do you get out of that box, though? How do you take the entrepreneur and share with them, you don't have to do this? Talk to us about that.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of technology companies in general that are either sick of working with agencies or don't even want to go that route because they know it's going to cost so much time and money. And the good news is there are now creative production companies. Now, creative production companies are able to go to straight to production. They have creative services like an agency does, but they also do the production, the post-production, and the visual effects. That's how we structured our company, Wild Gravity. And because we did it that way, we can do work at a fraction of the timeline, a fraction of the people, and a fraction of the cost. So if you're an entrepreneur that's out there, you want to seek a company like that that does all of the things under one roof.
And I'm sure in hacking advertising, you talk about all of that as a business owner of Wild Gravity, as a partner in Wild Gravity. I'm sure that you have a chance to chat about that. Is the model going to change? Is the evolution of your industry going to evolve to more of what you do and further away from the multi-step process? Or do you think that they're so entrenched in the process that it will appeal only to a certain segment of the big box companies, the huge companies that have billions of dollars in revenue coming in the door? Can we ever evolve to what you do and only what you do?
Well, the model is absolutely changing. Even at Microsoft, which is a multi-trillion-dollar company now, the money that they spend with agencies is far less. And they're now switching from giant agencies to smaller shops like mine for precisely that reason. The CFO at Microsoft, everyone there, the big wigs there are telling people you have to do more with less. And the reality is that you can create world-class work without all of that time, cost, and complexity. And the reason that I know this works is because we're displacing giant agencies at companies like Microsoft, at companies like Coca-Cola, at companies like Amazon. We are the ones that are coming in. We're winning pitches. And part of the reason is that we're smaller, we're more nimble, we're more cost effective, but we can still develop world-class work. Now, in my book, Hacking Advertising, I spell out exactly how this is done, exactly how brands, smaller brands and giant brands, can switch to this creative production model and get out of the big agency runaround.
So I'm asking this question just more out of protection for you rather than asking it because I want to know the answer to the question. But it seems like when you give away all of your secrets in hacking advertising, you're developing an environment that's ripe for other competition to come in and do what you are doing. Why wouldn't you sooner just keep it quiet, not write this book, and just keep doing what you're doing and overselling and undercutting every one of those big agencies that are out there? It's a fair question, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely a fair question. I mean, the ad agency industry isn't in danger of being disrupted. It's being disrupted. And one of the keys to our business model is the experience. We have small teams of seasoned professionals that do all of the work. We don't have these large layered hierarchical teams, right, that result in massive bureaucracy, need multiple approvals, right? Because we have a small seasoned teams of pros, the key thing is the experience. So I'm very fond of saying, like, I will give our business model away to any, Stanford MBA grad because they can't just take it and mirror what we do, because the key to it is the experience. We have people that have been producing work like this for decades. And because of that, we're able to produce the work much quicker, faster, and easier. And frankly, I don't mind if there's more people like that out there. Mm-hmm. I know that there's other people that are trying this anyway. And so I want to give the keys to the castle and, let's get those big agencies out of the way. It's time for a new breed of agencies to come in.
All right, let's talk about hacking advertising. What inspired you? It sounds like I might know the answer to this question already, but what inspired you to write the book, and how did you actually piece it together? Tell me about the process.
Yeah, well, our company, Wild Gravity, has been at this for about 8 years. And as I said, we've been displacing giant agencies at massive brands. And so after a while, I was like, why don't more people know about this? Why aren't there more people that are approaching it this way? And I was like, well, there's several keys to what we do that are different that people have to know. It isn't just about stacking creative and production together. Yes, that's part of it, but people have to know how to do that. You can't just take an agency and bolt on a production company. You can't take a production company and bolt on an agency because all of the bureaucracy is already built in already, right? Yep. So you either have to strip away all that bureaucracy, which is hard, or build it from the ground up, which is, I think, the best way to do it.
So let's get into some of the meat of the book. I know there's some critical elements and some things that we want to be able to share with our listening audience. We can't get our hands around or our heads around the entire book in a 20 or 30-minute interview. So what do you want people to know when they come into reading the book, and then what do you hope that they get out of it once they're on the tail end of reading those chapters?
Well, I want people to know that there is a better way, that they are not constrained to work with huge agencies that often have crazy entry fees, like they make you sign up for $500,000 or $1 million worth of work even to get going. There is a way to create world-class creative that can live on any television screen, any cinema screen, without all of that cost and complexity. I want people to understand how to do it and all of the different things that are important, including how to build small teams of pros, and then how to scale. One of the things that people often wonder about a company of our size is like, well, it's great that you have a super small team and you're nimble, but like, what do you do when you get a huge project? Well, our key here is we maintain a partner network of other seasoned professionals, right? So that when we get a huge project, we can scale from our core group of 10 people up to 60 people, up to 100 people in a matter of days, and we do it all of the time.
That's amazing. All right, so now somebody's gotten into the book, and I know you have one of your alliterations there is you have some magic metrics. So why don't you talk about the magic metrics for a second?
Yeah, so in advertising, there's 5 metrics. I call them the 5 magic metrics, and the reason they're magic is because when you hit on all 5, you're going to have a successful ad. And a lot of brand marketers and agencies often forget about what they're actually trying to do. Now, the 5 metrics are breakthrough, which is, do I remember seeing the ad? Then there's product message recall. Do I remember who it was for?
Right.
And then there is message recall, which is, do I remember what they were saying about the product? Do I remember what the offer is? And then likability, which is obvious. Do I like it? And that all drives down to purchase intent. And if you hit on those first 4, you're going to have high purchase intent, which is, of course, what we all want, right? At the end of the day, we're selling a product. We want people to buy it. We're trying to drive more revenue.
So talk about who the book is directed towards. Who do you hope is picking up a copy of this book, checking out the 5 magic metrics and saying, you know what, I think that is outstanding. I need to figure out how to make this work. Who is reading that?
The main target is brand advertisers, other heads of advertising, CMOs, anybody that's in charge of leading a marketing organization that has to create world-class ads and is basically just sick and tired of the big agency runaround, or doesn't even want to engage with an agency because they're so scared of that.
As you were putting together the book, I know that I can recall writing in 2013, 2014, I wrote a book called Nice Guys Finish First, and just going through the process, I wrote down like the different lessons that I learned in my life, the different stories that I shared, the principles that I wanted to, and then I had to kind of combine all of these things together. What was your process for actually putting the book together?
The process was going
that's,
through,
that's
right.
all right. That's all
I
right.
mean,
That's all right. I understand. Trying to even remember what my process was putting together, that wasn't an easy. I'm just curious what your own process was in putting it together. I don't think there's a right
sure.
answer there or a wrong answer. There's just what did you do to put your
Yeah.
book together?
Now, I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to one of my mentors was a guy, Joshua Sprague. And what Joshua Sprague offers is this 30-day book writing challenge.
Oh,
And what he does is he gives you a different task each day. And some of them are psychology based. You don't even realize that what you're working on when you're doing it. He'll be like, what are the things that you really want to tell the world? And you'd be like, okay, this, and this. And you'd go, okay, that's the mission statement. And then he'd be like, okay, what are all the different things that you would want to talk about? And you write a list of 20 or 30 things. And then he'd be like, okay, that now is your table of contents. And you'd be like, oh my
wow.
God, I didn't even know I was doing that. And then each day you would drill down on a different chapter. And because it's broken down in all of these bite-sized chunks, I was able to write the entire book in 30 days.
That's incredible. That is truly incredible. I'm going to make sure that we put a link in the show notes to so that you have access to the book. As of the airing of this, we are in pre-order right now. We are recording this on February 26th of 2025. The book officially comes out, I think it was the first week of April. Is that right?
It's actually the last week. The book is available April 29th,
Got
but
it.
you can go to Amazon right now and pre-order it. And if you just go, if the one thing you remember is go to Amazon and search hacking advertising, my book is the first one that will come up. You can go ahead and pre-order that now and make sure you get a copy from the first run.
Yeah, we want to make sure we're blasting this out to the world in pre-order right now. Again, if you're listening to this pre-April 29th, just go over to, like John just said, just go over to Amazon and type in hacking advertising, or you can just check the link in the show notes. We'll get you to the landing page, hackingadvertising.com, where you can pre-order directly from there. The bonus, if you go to the website as opposed to Amazon first, is you have access to get the free guide as well. So what is the guide that you're going to provide for everybody?
That's correct. If you go to hackingadvertising.com, I provide a free guide, which are the top 5 ad production mistakes that people tend to make. And those include things like not aligning production and creative at the get-go, and all of the problems that you can run in with different things like that. For instance, like, don't write an elephant into the script and then find out that the production company, can't get an elephant, and if they did, it would be too expensive, and they can't get a visual effects company to do it because that also would cost a lot of money. And then even AI, you're not going to get exactly what you want. So you want to make sure that you're aligning creative with production from the get-go. And that's just one of the things I talk about in this free guide. If you go to hackingadvertising.com, you can get this free guide. And you can also sign up for the newsletter, which I'm providing free content from the book and kind of a behind the scenes on the publishing process.
That is great. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. Let's advance the clock down. I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years, however far out your forecasting brain can work. What would you hope to accomplish with your book? Where are we heading with it?
You know, this is a disruptive book. I am looking to disrupt the ad agency. I want to have more companies like Wild Gravity. I want to even, it's for everybody. And it's not just, I'm not anti-agency. Agencies are tremendous at what they do, but what I am anti is anti-process. The process itself is ridiculous and it needs to change, and it is changing. And so in a few years, I hope there's a lot more companies like ours. And I hope that agencies take this to heart and start building out vertical capabilities within their own shops. And I want CMOs to be able to save money, but still make great work.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. If it's okay, I'd love to take a right turn for just a quick second, leave the book and the agency behind, just so we can talk about your personal life for a second. Are you good with
Sure.
that? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So what do you do up in the great Northwest outside of what you do here, sharing your content and your professionalism with the world? What is it that you that are your hobbies that you enjoy doing?
Sure. I mean, I love living in the Pacific Northwest. One of the main features is the mountains. I love to ski. I'm a big skier, and we have great ski hills that are an hour and a half or even 45 minutes away. That is one of my favorite things to do. I actually grew up in Boston, grew up skiing in New Hampshire and Vermont. And while I love that, the mountains here are just so much better, so much bigger, and much closer. If you're skiing in Vermont or New Hampshire, it's still like a 2.5 hour drive to get anything decent. Here, I can be at Crystal or Stevens Pass in 90 minutes.
Nice, nice. And of course, behind every great agency owner or partner is the person or people that support you. So, who in your life is the support mechanism for all of the stuff that you got going on in your professional world?
My wife, Ellen Sneider, and my kids, Max and Sadie Sneider. All of this is for them. I like to remind myself because I get obsessive. If you're somebody that has founded a startup, you're going to be doing a ton of work. If you're crazy enough to write a book on top of that, you are going to be maniacally focused on that. And because of that, a lot of times I'm not present when I'm present. And the thing that I like to do is remind myself, I don't work for me, I work for them.
Yeah,
and so
great.
The book is dedicated to them. And those are absolutely the most important people in my life.
Nice. Well, I was just got finished recording earlier today. A buddy of mine who is a client also. His name is Ron Boxstaller, and he created a book that's about aligning getting some balance back in your life. He's an owner of a company for decades. Really enjoys the whole process of finding balance in his life. So, is there something that you do to kind of force yourself into the corner of balance so that you're not always dealing with the agency side of things, or not just forgetting about business and focused on everything else that's in life? What do you do to balance yourself?
Yeah, I mean, that's super important. Obviously, I like to, take time to enjoy activities like skiing, and in the summer, I like to play golf. But on a day-to-day basis, I like to get home, make sure that I can get home, eat dinner with my family, and then turn off all of my electronics, put down the phone, turn off the laptop, and just hang with the family. Usually even just watching a couple hours of television, watching a new series is great. Right now I'm loving White Orchid.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic show. But yeah, my wife and I like to latch onto a new series periodically, and that's a great way to relax. And I like to at least just take a couple of hours before I go to bed to turn my brain off from all the stuff to do to promote the book and all the stuff I need to do to manage the agency.
Yeah, I totally hear you. And I am a series fanatic myself. Netflix is one of our big to-dos on a daily basis. And we generally see a show that's like 6 or 7 seasons, and it'll be like, oh, that's great. That'll be a good weekend worth of watching.
Right. Yeah.
So, Jon, thanks for sharing again your expertise and what you're all about, and your in your genuine nature, man. It's really cool to have you on the show, and thanks for sharing your book.
Doug, it's absolutely been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having this on. And I gotta say, I just love the whole nice guys thing. When we started Wild Gravity, we're like, can we make a rule that we're not going to work with assholes?
Yeah, the no asshole rule. That's an easy one to make.
Exactly.
Right?
Like we've been in this industry long enough. Let's just work with people we like.
Oh gosh, it's so great to hear that. I think about it. I know I just told you we're going to wrap up, but you just gave me just another topic to talk about. I think about the early part of starting our production business, TurnKey, and anybody that had a checkbook was a client. And that became a really big problem for us, because that would mean that anybody would become a client, and that's exactly who became our clients. And we started to discover who we didn't like and who was challenging to work with, and who felt like they were entitled because they wrote us that check, that they were entitled to everything, unlimited carte blanche to our schedule, our timing, our services, and all of that. And I don't know about you, but I'm assuming that's probably not how you run your business.
Yeah, no, exactly the same problem. It's like you get a client like that just runs your agency ragged, and at the end of the day, it's not worth it. You end up burning out your staff. Nobody's happy. And then also the work isn't as good. Like, it's just so much more productive to work with nice people, people that respect you and respect the work that you're doing. And it always ends up in higher quality work.
Short story at the very end of this as we head out. John, when he originally requested to be on the show, he was doing his due diligence, which was great. And I hope you don't mind I share this story,
I don't mind.
John. If you
This
do,
is funny.
We'll just edit it out.
Absolutely.
So when John was interested in coming on the show, he did some due diligence. He wanted me to send him a link to the show, he said, "What's the name of the show?" And I sent him the name of the show. And I probably was the one that didn't link the name of the show. So he's looking for the nice guys on the internet or wherever it was, and he came across this other show, and it was just like these two guys in the basement or something. Maybe you can share a little bit more.
Yeah,
about
exactly. It was like, I looked up this show and I found, obviously it's this random show not tied to you guys at all. And it's basically like two guys that had graduated college together doing bong hits in the basement and talking to their buddies. And I was like, oh my God, what did you sign me up for, Doug?
No, don't get me wrong. That is all stuff that we do, but we do it hopefully a little bit more professionally, and we've been doing it for 10 years now. So at least it passes as good content. So
much better, I have to say, much better.
So much fun. Hey, John, I really appreciate you being on the show, and thanks for sharing what you had with us and hacking advertising. And we'll make sure we get more information to our audience. Thanks for being here.
Thanks again. This has been an absolute blast.
A nice guy community. Never wow, if I could say that one more time. Never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Jon Sneider. All of his information, including access to the Amazon page that's there, his landing page, which is really the important page. I love to sell some books. I also want to make sure that you guys are really aware of what Jon is all about. And I think that if you go to the landing page, which is hackingadvertising.com, you'll really get a better picture of what Jon does from the many, many people that you'll see on the Amazon pages that are there, and the distractions that you'll see when you get to Amazon. So don't buy anything from Amazon other than Jon's book right now, but head over to hackingadvertising.com. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
Are you sure the legal department cleared this? Okay then. For the nice guys on business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Hey, if these bozos want to get sued, that's their business. Leave me out of it. Wait, we have a legal department?